That's why I'm proud to co-sponsor the Consumer First Energy Act, which Majority Leader Reid introduced last week, and there are 20 co-sponsors, 20 senators are already on this bill. The bill attacks high gas prices from 5 different angles, all of which are achievable in the short term. The first thing, and the thing that I've really heard most about when I talk to people in this business, is the role that market speculation is playing in today's price of gas. The administration likes to tell us that high gas prices are just a simple case of supply and demand. More people are driving, so the price of gas goes up. But that answer doesn't hold true any longer. Just look at what the oil executives themselves have been saying. On October 30th, 2007, the CEO of Marathon Oil said, $100 oil isn't just justified by the physical demand in the market. This is from the CEO of Marathon Oil on October 30th, 2007. You think you might know a little bit about what he was talking about. Then you have an even more recent quote. On April 11th of this year, the CEO of Royal Dutch Shell said, the oil fundamentals are no problem. They are the same as they were when oil was selling for $60 a barrel. And on April 1st, we won't note that that's April Fool's Day, but on April 1st of this year, Senior Vice President at ExxonMobil, he said the price of oil should be about $50 to $55 per barrel. Well, if oil should be roughly at $50 or $60 a barrel, given market fundamentals, why is it trading at $118 per barrel? If supply and demand doesn't explain the high price of gas, what does? According to the experts, there is a frenzy of unregulated market speculation in the oil futures market that is driving prices up to record highs. I'd like to share a quote from an energy market analyst with Oppenheimer, who was recently named by Bloomberg as the top-ranked energy analyst in the country. This is what he said. He said, I'm absolutely convinced that oil prices shouldn't be a dime above $55 a barrel. They shouldn't be a dime above $55 a barrel. Oil speculators include the largest financial institutions in the world, he said. I call it the world's largest gambling hall. It's open 24/7. It's totally unregulated. This is like a highway with no cops and no speed limit, and everybody's going 120 miles per hour. Well, that's going to be really reassuring to the people that are calling our office because they can't afford to go up to the lake this summer. The world's largest gambling hall. Why are these trades in a commodity as vital as oil, at a time when we're in a very fragile situation internationally, and we're doing business with all these countries that we'd rather not do business with? Why is this commodity as vital as oil unregulated? Well, back in 2000, a provision that was inserted into the Commodity Futures Modernization Act that exempted electronic energy trades from federal regulation. In the absence of oversight, what was once a small niche market became a booming industry, attracting rampant speculation from hedge funds and investment banks, the largest financial institutions in the world. Oil and natural gas prices became volatile. The provision has come to be known as the Enron loophole because it made possible the many abuses that triggered the Western energy crisis and cost the economy $35 billion and nearly 600,000 jobs. The federal government, Mr. President, has a critical role to play in conducting aggressive oversight of changing energy markets. Any prosecutor, and you, Mr. Presiding Officer, know from your past work as a prosecutor, can tell you that good laws are not enough. You need good enforcement. And history has shown us that when enforcement is lax, consumers ultimately pay the price. The Consumer First Energy Act addresses the problem of market speculation by stopping traders from routing transactions through offshore markets in order to get around limits on speculation put in place by U.S. regulators. Specifically, the Intercontinental Exchange, or ICE in London, allows trading in America oil futures, gasoline, and home heating oil with far less stringent reporting requirements than what is required here at home. This has driven a lot of speculation offshore and out of reach of our regulators. This bill will make those foreign trades in American oil and gasoline futures subject to reporting requirements so we can have a proper paper trail and keep track of what's going on here. This bill would also require the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to increase the margin requirement for oil trades. A margin requirement, as you know, is the amount of money you have to put down if you want to buy and sell oil futures. The margin requirement is currently set by the exchanges themselves, kind of like a fox guarding the hen house. And they have set the requirements so low that it has led to this rampant speculation. Some people believe that this has occurred because many of these speculators have taken their money out of the subprime mortgage, out of mortgages, and put it into oil. Whatever the case, the people in Minnesota want to know that the people in Washington are actually looking out for them. And I think that the way we do this is by reining in some of this rampant speculation with this bill. The bill also has requirements that will allow us to push on OPEC so that they provide the oil that they should provide. They are keeping this at an artificially low level. They are colluding to do that, yet at the same time our country is doing business with many of these countries. This has to stop, and we have to use the leverage that we have to push OPEC to produce more oil. Another part of the bill would ask that we temporarily halt putting oil into our strategic petroleum reserves. This is estimated by energy analysts to bring in about 3 to 5 cents per gallon. If we would just do that, they're already 97% full, Mr. President, and yet our government is purchasing oil at this incredibly high rate. What this bill does is put a temporary halt to that so that we can, in fact, put more oil on the market and at the same time not burden our country by buying it at this incredibly high rate. Finally, this bill does something that we've been trying to do for years, and that is to take the oil giveaways and put them in the hands of those that can actually produce renewable energy. As you know, we came so close to doing this in the past, Mr. President, one vote short of blocking the filibuster, a tool that the other side has used now 68 times, a record number. One vote short of taking $17 billion over a 10-year period and putting it in the hands of basically the people of this country to say there is a better way. Instead of investing in the sultans of Saudi Arabia, we could be putting our investments in the farmers and the workers of this country. If Brazil can do it, and they can do it with sugarcane, we can do it with other things. We can do it with residue from logging. We can do it with hybrid cars. We can do it with hydrogen-fueled cells. We can do it with cellulosic ethanol, the next generation of biofuels. But not if we're not willing to talk about how we do it, which is to put our money where our mouth is, which is to take these giveaways that these oil companies have been enjoying for so many years while seeing record profits and putting in the hands of the future. That's what we're asking this chamber to vote on tomorrow. And I can tell you, if you ask the people in my state, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, Independents, no matter if they're from the Twin Cities or they're from the Iron Range of Minnesota or they're from southern Minnesota, they want to go the next step. They're bold. They figure if we can put a man on the moon, we can really do this. This is why I support this bill. This is our future. And I am very proud to be a sponsor of this bill and hope that this chamber is willing to do something tomorrow, different than what we've done in this area of energy. We've taken steps, we increased the gas mileage standards, but this is our one opportunity to be bold and to respond to the people of this country who aren't looking for gimmicks. They're looking at us to do something. And we know that what we can do is the long-term solutions of the research and development, of the transitioning to green jobs. We can do the transition to cellulosic ethanol and put the money there. But in the short term, what we need to do is to get rid of this idea that government should just put up our hands and let this keep going while this rampant speculation goes on and on and on.